Good night.
Here at Pegasus Airlines wishes you a pleasant flight.
What's up guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Today we're flying over to the beautiful Colombia from my beautiful wife's home country, Honduras. Good to see everyone and welcome to the stream. Hope everyone is having a good day. We got Rio. What's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. We got Willie. What's going on, man? Welcome in. We got the awesome Master 11. We got Brian. We got George. Much love. And we got my beautiful wife next to me also. Much love to her. Good to see you, Michelle. Good to see you, Sasha. Good to see you, Christian. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. We're going to be taking off right now. Let me know how was guys' day, man. Much love. Willie said, hey, family. My wife is hilarious, man. She asked me if I want a donut. Good to see you, Willie. Willie said, hey, family. Good to see you, Willie. How's everything going? Brian, how was dinner, man? How was the day? See you, Willie, my man. She just handed me a donut. Well. Shout out to my awesome wife. I'll eat that after stream, babe. Here we go. Yes, sir. As Joe said, man, is everyone meaning good night, everyone. Much love to you, man. Hope you all is well. How's your ATL, sweetheart? If you know, you know. Yeah, so George, you know, we were having so much fun with the 787 the other night. We had to pull out the 787 once again. So the 787 LATAM, a very beautiful airplane. And not only that, we got the awesome Rio flying with us today, man. What's going on, Rio? You know, it's always a pleasure to fly with you, man. I see you in this 777. Much love. Also, guys, we'll be having Captain Nick on tonight. So he said, get your questions ready. If you guys have any questions, he'll be on at 7:30. So let us know if you guys have any questions. I know I have a few questions for him about the emergency situation that happened. Well, the crash and everything that's happening right now. Even this afternoon, actually a helicopter crash, not helicopter, a plane crash in California, I think. It was crazy, man. Is it beautiful? She's good. Awesome, George. Let me see. Brian said the day was busy, but good. We had Applebee's for dinner. Nice. What did you get from Applebee's, Brian? I haven't been to Applebee's in so long. I have no idea what they have right now. I gotta check it out. We always pass Applebee's on the way to church, so we always think about passing there, but I never actually stop. So awesome, Willie. Good to see your tag name, brother. Wait, Willie's up tonight? Let's go. Willie looks like he's doing the whole flight tonight. Normally, Willie spawn in at the end. But good to see you, Willie. What's up, Patrice? Patrice, welcome to the stream. Yeah, the plane is looking very beautiful indeed. What's up, Miguel? Welcome to the stream. Hope all is well with you. Yeah, once again, guys, Captain Nick is going to be on stream tonight. It was funny. You guys saw we had another Captain Nick last night. That was very interesting. He flew for JetBlue. His name was also Nick. So hopefully maybe we might have both of them in the chat tonight. But I know the other one, the original OG Captain Nick, said is going to be on. I fixed the Discord and should be on with us pretty soon. Rock out, what's going on, man? Said beautiful. Yes, sir, indeed. But yeah, Rio, how's everything going, man? How's the family? How's Jordan? Good to see you flying in the beautiful New Zealand 777 with us tonight. Brian said I had a quesadilla burger and a waffle fry. Woo! Nah, Brian, you actually make me want to actually get myself over to Applebee's. That sounds pretty good. Probably, man, welcome to the stream. Hope all is well with you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Let me go ahead and switch on live with it real quick. But yeah, man, also shout out to Willie for your, I think your class, not a classmate, your student was on earlier. The 787 is beautiful aircraft, even for my Airbus guy. Yeah, man, I don't normally fly the same plane over and over again, unless it's a 777. But man, I had so much fun flying that 787 earlier this week. I had to fly it again. But good to see you, Jay Russ. How's it going, man? Did any flights today? Let me see. So Willie said, yeah, I'm flying the Airbus A3-200. What do you mean, Willie? Which one is that? A3? You mean? Let me see for myself. Okay, interesting. Nice. Yeah, but from an Airbus guy, indeed, I appreciate that. J. Russ. Rio said, I'm good. Bracing for a huge snowstorm. Oh my goodness. Rio, you're over here bracing for a snowstorm. Here in Florida, we went up to 85 degrees today. He said, I'm good. I'm bracing for a huge snowstorm for the next few days. Between 30 to 45 centimeters predicted for tomorrow, and then another 30 centimeters. Oh my goodness, weekend. That's crazy, man. Rio, stay safe, stay hot, don't stay cold. Make sure you bundle up and drive safe, man. Because I heard driving on ice is not for the best. It's not easy. So much love to you, man. Let us know how it go. Say hello to your awesome son and your wife for us, man. We say you did a short flight from Detroit to LaGuardia. Nice. What plane? I mean, I know you got to be using the Airbus A320, but nice. How was the flight? He's flying the Airbus A220. There we go. Thank you so much, Brian. To Dangaria, we need to do a flight there. Sounds good. So got to love my bus driver, Mr. Willie. Hey, shout out to you probably, man. Indeed. It's pretty cool that you're on here again, probably, man. You're Willie's student. Willie's your bus driver. Glad to have you on. Oh, man. Brian, I'm done. What's up, Nate? Good to see you, man. Welcome to the stream. Oh, my goodness. You guys are funny, man. But, yeah, beautiful scenery here. Brian, let me know how the weather is up there. If you know, you know. Let me know when you're ready to see me up there. What's up, Dwayne? Much love to you on TikTok. Yeah, right now we're just up 247 knots, 16,000 feet over to our beautiful center. Let me see, Colombia. George, yeah, let me behave. Kids in the chat. Oh boy. What's up, Jason? Jason said, hey, Flight Simulator Fantasy. Jason from Alaska here. Thank you so much for hopping on from Alaska, Jason. Jason, how you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. What time is it right now? Is it in Alaska? Good to see you. It's a Boeing versus Airbus night. Yeah, man. I think everyone in here mostly, if you had a vote, it probably Boeing may win. Let me see. Rear said yes, so the city might shut down. Whoa, the whole city might shut down. And a lot of airports are canceling flights. Are going to going to ground a lot of planes. That's insane, man. What is going on in Canada, Rio? That is some crazy stuff. As Brian said, Jason, welcome in, man. Much love. Yeah, Captain Nick said he should be here in a few minutes. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let us know. So right now it's 3:09 p.m. Sheesh. 3:09 p.m. I would not have guessed that. Awesome, man. How's living in Alaska, man? I was living in Alaska. I think Brian said, Brian, am I right when I'm saying that you did live in Alaska a few years back? Well, yeah, man. George said, what city you in, Rio? Yeah, once again, Jason, welcome in, man. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Right now, we're just flying the beautiful 787. Headed over to the beautiful Colombia from Honduras. We got Gerald Jones in the chat. What's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Much love. Willie, I am done. But yeah, man, LATAM Airlines, shout out to Doza for this suggestion, and also the airplane suggestion. She suggested a LATAM, indeed. Rio lives in Ottawa. Nice. Anybody in the chat have ever been to Canada? Other than Rio, of course. I've personally never been to Canada. I would love to visit Canada someday. I heard some good stuff about it. Seen some beautiful pictures. Obviously, free healthcare, but yeah, man. Jason said it's been crazy this year. Pensacola, Florida has gotten more snow than we did. Wow. That's crazy. So no snow over there in Alaska? That is insane. Yeah, man. Florida did get hit by some snow. Not snowstorms, but there's some snow. But me here in South Florida, I'm at the tip of Miami, so I had no snow at all. It was just super cold, but no snow. Yeah, Brian said, yeah, he did live in Fairbanks in the early 80s. My dad was in the Air Force. Oh, boy. Brian, don't let Rock Out hear that. Or even Riley. Well, awesome, man. Early 80s. My dad was in the Air Force. Awesome. Once again, thank you, your dad, so much for his service. Much love to your dad. Pierre Roach, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good evening. How you doing, man? Hope you had a good day. George said he's been to Ottawa and Toronto. Willie said he'd never been, but he'd love to visit. Yeah, I would like to go. For those of you guys who have been to Canada, where is the best place to visit? Like Rio. Rio, let us know. You got to be the tour guide, man. If we're coming to Canada, Rio, what's the best place, best part of town? Let us know. So yes, George, all over Toronto. Or Ontario is getting, wow. That's crazy. Got you, Brian. Well, interesting. But yeah, man, let us know because I do want to travel more, and Canada is one of the places I really want to go to and see and visit. Let me see. Orlando said, a.k.a. Master 11, said I went to Canada when I was very young. This was a little bit over 3 decades ago. I went with my dad and older brother to Niagara Falls and in Toronto. Nice. In Toronto. Nice. Rockout, I was just waiting on you, man. Rockout said, earlier 80s, huh? Oh, man, early 80s. I was just waiting on Rockout to comment on that. As soon as I saw the early 80s comment, you know, Rockout always getting on Brian for his age, but Brian is not old at all. Let me see. Oh, my goodness. Probably, man, is getting on Brian, too. He said probably 80s VHS cassette. Oh, my gosh. Hey, probably, man, you're fitting right in, man. You're fitting right in. That is hilarious. This man said cassette players. What do you know about cassette players? I haven't heard about cassette. Brian probably have a whole box of them in his room still stored up. Oh, my goodness. George, what are you laughing for? You probably know about some cassette players, too. But then again, George isn't that old. You know, I always thought George was like 39. Turns out George is in his 20s. George is pretty young. But yeah, I thought he was in his like 30, 38, 39. But George is a young guy, man. But still, you know about them cassette players. So go to Niagara Falls. You will have a great time. Say ease off of Brian. Look at George coming to Brian's defense. Oh, my goodness. That would be correct. Y'all kids got it easy with the technology. Oh, Brian, you come back. I love it. Let me see. What's up, Chris? So what's your take on all the planes crashing and malfunctioning recently? Can planes be hijacked? Chris, you asked an amazing question. Exactly 15 minutes at 7:30, we'll be having a Southwest pilot in the chat to answer these questions. So stay tuned. Next 15 minutes, Captain Nick from Southwest is going to be on the stream answering all those questions. But yeah, for me personally, to answer that question, all these planes crashing, yeah, man. To begin the year is always like that. But in terms of passenger travel, shouldn't be worried. These things happen on smaller airplanes. Like today, for instance, a smaller plane crashed. But on passenger aircrafts, it doesn't happen. Commercial aircraft don't happen as often. Should not be afraid of traveling commercially. Let me see. So George said 39. You're 12, baby. If he says, wait, what? Oh, okay. I thought George just said he's a 2012 baby just now. I was like, what? George ain't, there's no way George. Because you guys have the same color names. I thought George said he's 2012 baby. Like, George? Ain't no way. It's crazy. Let me see. Brian said he's 180 nautical miles out. Got you, Brian. Bennett, shout out to you on TikTok. Let me see. Going back to Brian's comment here. He said, George, I appreciate you. Yeah, George has your back, man. George has your back. Let me see. Rio said Niagara Falls on the Canada side is better than the American side. Oh, wow. Let me see. Chris said, I'm 2005, baby. I'm getting old. 2005. I saw a meme that says if you're 2000 and anything, pretty young, but that's not true anymore because 2005, they're pretty old. You're getting old. So, that's crazy. I got here is older than most. Oh, my goodness. That is true, Brian. That is true. Who's the youngest here tonight? I think iPhone is not here. iPhone is normally the youngest here tonight. Rylan, he's 16. He's not here tonight. So I think we're more on the, not the old side. I would say the mature side here tonight. The youngest will probably be, if I have to scroll through the chat and guess, I would say Rockout. And Rockout is not that young. So I would say Rockout is probably the youngest in the chat tonight. Rockout, you're 17, right? Let me know. George said I feel old. George, the thing is, you might feel old, but you're still not old. You're still in your 20s, man. It's still crazy. Pierre Man said, my dad said I'm at the end of the world, baby. So what happened in 2012? Wait, what? My dad said end of the world. Okay, that's crazy. Chris said the world was supposed to end. Oh, okay, there we go. Really? Well, we're still standing. So Asiana is the youngest, I think. Asiana is on tonight? George said I'm 12. In what world George is 12? Jason Richards said, shoot, I remember when I got a pager for the first time. I thought I was the... Jason, tell us about the pager, man. Tell us about the pager. I've only seen pagers on Netflix and YouTube, man. How does a pager... You just page you and that's it? That's pretty cool, man. I always wanted to see a pager in real life. I think pagers are pretty cool. I think that they need to bring back pagers. And also, one thing they need to bring back from the olden days, it's not really olden days, but flip phones. Do you guys remember flip phones? The way you can just hang up on somebody and just boop, shut the phone. That was the best thing ever. So, what do you guys think back in the day they need to bring back technology-wise? What do you think they need to bring back in the new ages? Let me see. Brian said Jason, pagers were a big deal. I remember when they came out, and everything you would page would be coded. Oh man, look at Brian reminiscing, man. Let me see. Rocco said, Brian, did you used to give the delivery guy a message and tell your family? Oh my goodness, just like good old times. Brian, Rocco is giving it to you, man. He said, Brian, did you give your delivery guy a message and tell your family and friends that live out of state before phones were invented? He's trying to say Brian was alive BC. If you know, you know. Oh my goodness. What he said, I know I got my first flip phone out of the player. Nice. Jason. My wife just said her first phone was a Razor. If you guys know, Razors were actually the thing back in the day. Was it a BlackBerry Razor? Oh wait, wait. The flip. Yeah. My first phone was a Peanut. You guys ever seen a Nokia? The Nokia Peanut that can't really break. You can throw it as a stone and it gets fire and it still works. Yeah, that was my first phone. Jason said, so it would page you with the person who was trying to get a hold of you, and then you would have to go to the payphone. Oh my goodness, payphone. I love it. We got Captain Nick in the house. What's going on, Captain Nick? I was just telling everyone that you'll be on tonight. We already got a few questions here for you. I'll give you a call on Discord right now. Right now, we're just reminiscing about the olden days. I'm laughing at Jason. Jason just said, he's telling me how pager worked. Basically, somebody who paid you have to go to a payphone and call them, and then at the number they paged you on. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. Rio said I had a Nokia with the flashlight. Oh my gosh. That is hilarious. I used to have one too. The Nokia with the flashlight on top of it, that is very convenient. I don't know why they stopped making phones with flashlights. I mean, they do. I'm tripping. iPhone doesn't have flashlight. But still, that is crazy. Brian said I remember when the flip phones came out. I also remember when the long distance phone calls were free after 9 p.m. In Antigua, we used to have this thing where we had free text after 5. So between 5 and 6, we got free text. So that's when you get to like text everyone. I think Rio probably remember that. Did you sell a Lime? I don't know if you remember that. It's a Nokia. Yeah, the Nokia was. You guys remember the snake game on the phone? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I had the green one. The green one. The snake game was so addicting. It was insane. So you got to walk to the store and get a phone card and scratch the back. You already know. Rio, I had to go to the store and be like, can I top up? $25 top up. George said he used to text girls at the. Oh boy. George. Oh my goodness. Not me. My wife is right. I'm not. I never text girls at that age. It said 10 to 11, 5 to 6. George, you remember those days? Man, you used to be in class at 10 to 11 trying to text. It's crazy. Who are you guys texting at 10 o'clock in the morning? It's crazy. See, I love the snake game. It was fun. Yeah, man. That is crazy, man. But once again, Captain Nick, I'm going to give you a call real quick. Here we go. He said Lime all the way. Yeah, Lime all the way. He said shoot. Let me say the pager had a case that clipped on the belt. That is pretty cool, man. I remember seeing those on movies and TV shows. The fact that you had a pager is pretty awesome. That is pretty cool. All right, so let's see if we can give Captain Nick a call real quick. My wife said her parents had a pager growing up. George said I used to text. Whoa. Hello, Captain Nick. How you doing, man?
Hey, good, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Much love to you. Hope all is well. Guys, on the phone right now, we have the amazing Captain Nick. He was supposed to hop on last night, but we were having some technical difficulties. Let us know if you guys can hear him tonight. But much love. If you guys are new to the channel, this is Captain Nick. He is a pilot for Southwest, a great pilot. He's been a part of the channel for almost a year now, just shedding some insight on great works that he does in the aviation world, and he's encouraging other people to become a pilot. So much love. Captain Nick, how you doing, man?
Doing good, man. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. Great to hear from you.
Great to hear from you. Tell me the new stuff. Tell me what's been going on in your life.
Well, a lot of stuff. The last couple of months have been amazing, man. So like I told you, you already know what's going on. I got married in January. And
yes, congratulations.
Yes, sir. And then found out that my fiance at the time, well, wife now, was pregnant. Found out she's pregnant with twins. Did I tell you what they are? Boys or girls?
No.
That's where I found out. What do you think they are?
A boy and a girl.
They are 2 girls.
No way.
Yes, sir. We're having identical twin girls come in June, July.
Triple couple. You're gonna have 3 girls in the house and you.
Yeah, 3 girls in the house and me. So yeah, pray for me. It's gonna be a crazy time.
They're gonna hang up on you. You're gonna lose every decision.
Exactly. I'm gonna lose everything, man. They're gonna want to get their nails done, hair done, everything done. It's gonna be hilarious. But man,
that's all right. As long as they're doing your nails too. Every once in a while, when Shayna's doing hers, she'll do mine.
Oh my goodness! I promise you, they're probably gonna try to do that too.
Right.
My wife's here. She's like, do my Captain Nick said they're gonna try to do my nails. But yeah, that'll be hilarious. But yeah, shout out to Jason. Jason said congratulations, thank you so much. But yeah, Captain Nick, a lot has been going on with aviation lately. Last week or so has just been hectic, super crazy.
Of course.
With crashes. Even today I heard a fighter jet, not a fighter jet, but the military plane crashed today. I didn't get to post it, but I heard about it. I had a question. I heard about it, but I didn't get to look into it. I had a question earlier, but I told them to wait for 50 minutes until Captain Nick hop on, and here you are. So the question was, what's your take on all the planes crashing and malfunctioning recently? Can planes be hijacked? That was a question I have there. That's a question from...
That's a few questions all at once.
Yeah,
so let's kind of work them through. Here's a problem with aviation. When eyes are on aviation, the media reports everything. And so, for example, there was the DC crash, and then all of a sudden in the media, they're like, oh, there's been 4 major airline crashes. And we were like, whoa, where the hell were the other 3? Well, the problem was it wasn't really what they were reporting. They were making it seem bigger than it was. It was like, a guy who owns like a Cessna 172 and his daughter had crashed a plane. Well, they were calling that like a major crash. And so all of a sudden, all eyes are on aviation.
Yeah.
And so obviously, it's a big deal. Plane crashes, it's a big deal. And it's a big deal because it doesn't happen. So all these people who are like, oh my God, I'm terrified of flying now. The odds of you being in a fatal plane crash are 1 in like 10. It's not even trillion. It's like past that. So like you would have to fly all day, every day for 10 trillion years to potentially be involved in a fatal crash. And I mean, those are good odds, man. Like when you go driving, your odds are way higher than that. And so, the problem with aviation, and the great thing about aviation is it's so rare, but the problem is it's so rare that if it happens, all of a sudden all eyes are on aviation. There has been a lot of crazy stuff happening, but there's also been a lot of crazy stuff in the world as far as like travel, right? Like we just had the Super Bowl. We have mass travel. We have more travel right now than we ever have.
Yeah.
And we have more of these private jets. The one that was from Mexico, that was a medevac. You and I have talked extensively about how training is in other countries. That I don't know what happened with the one recently where the jet, like it was like a high-speed taxi off and it hit another plane. But none of those are airlines, right? Like none of those are American, United, Delta. The one that was American, obviously, that one, you and I were starting to talk about it last night.
Yeah.
That one is an absolute travesty because they did everything right. I mean, I have done that approach a million times. I was told you I was based in DC for 7 years.
Wow.
So like that approach to that runway, so they have you fly to runway 1 and then they circle you to 33. So you hit the Wilson Bridge and then you circle around to the East Bank and come in and land on 33. I've done that a million times. And occasionally they'll tell you that you're going to have helicopter traffic, which is known as PAT, P-A-T. So they're like, helicopter traffic off your right, they're going to stay behind you or they're going to stay low. I don't know what happened, like, for them to be, they were high, they were wearing night vision goggles. They said they had the aircraft in sight. So we're still going to have to wait for the reports to come out. Unfortunately, as with anything else, most problems in aviation are pilot related. They're not, the plane did nothing wrong. The fact that the helicopter had ADS-B turned off, maybe we need to look into that and be like, hey, you guys can't have that turned off, especially in such a hectic, the busiest airspace in the world, the most tightly packed airspace. Maybe we should revamp this. And it is something that, public records show that there was over 3,000 people who had complained, I being one of them, who complained about the helicopter traffic up and down the Potomac getting so close while we fly our approaches. Now, it's never been a problem before, and that's what we always heard. It was like, well, it's never been a problem before. And it's like, yeah, but that's it's a bad way to go about things. And unfortunately, with the FAA, and hopefully this is going to change, the FAA is reactive. They are not proactive on most things. And so, it's kind of like to get a street light in your city, enough deaths have to occur at a stop sign for them to now make that a street light, for example. And so they have to justify everything. And so hopefully, that like this will not be in vain. As much as a tragedy as this is, it will not be in vain. The two captains that were flying, the two flight attendants that lost their lives, we knew a lot of them. Aviation is just too small not to know people. And so they were all great people, and it won't be in vain. Whatever happened there will incite change in the future, and it will be forever thanks to them. So it's unfortunate that they had to lose their lives for it, but something will change because of it.
Yeah, that is true. Something will definitely change. As Jordan said, reactive, not proactive. So never going to be an issue until something happens. Let me see. Brian said there was a go around the day before and a fatal accident due to a helicopter in DC. Brian, thank you so much for bringing that up. I did do some research and I actually heard about that incident also. The day before, there was an issue that a helicopter did come very, very dangerously close to an airplane. I think it was also a Southwest, so maybe, I don't know if you heard about it, but I heard the ATC audio of it, and I'm like, wow, that happened just 24 hours before the actual fatal crash. So, as you said, it happens. You said you complained about it before, about helicopters being way too close, and to see that it had to happen. What do you think can change? I mean, in your opinion, what could change is not have the helicopters fly that route anymore? Or what do you think would be the great solution?
They still have to fly that route. Like the East Bank of the Potomac is where everything's sensitive, for the most part, not everything, but that's where there's so much sensitive stuff over there. And so Pat flying that route, that corridor, it's there for a reason. The problem is it's so tight. Like I never liked, now that's not fair. I liked the circle to 3-3 because it's fun. It's exciting. It really takes a stick and rudder pilot. Matter of fact, you should do it in the sim. Fly a jet, fly the ILS approach to runway 1, like or the visual or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when you get to that bridge, right before runway 1, bank around, stay over the water, and bank around and land on runway 33. And you're going to see how much skill it takes to effectively land in your touchdown zone. You don't just get to use the whole runway. Like you've got to touch down as a spot landing, like on the 1,000-footers. Otherwise, you've got a problem. And so my thinking is that PAT corridor, that helicopter corridor there, just needs to be moved a little bit. Like where we fly up, because like we're using the Potomac, they're using the Potomac. We're coming in one way. Sometimes they're going with us. Sometimes they're going against us. And it's always like you see them go by, and you're like, oh, it's close, but it's not like, so close that you're like, oh my God, I need to break off the approach. most of the time. I mean, it's happened obviously, but I think they just need to reevaluate where Pat is flying. Um, let's just redraw the corridors, or you don't get to use runway 33 if Pat is within 2 miles or a mile or whatever it is. Like you can't have Pat coming in while an American Airlines plane is coming in on runway 33. They just don't go together, because that plane they were flying that approach perfectly, in my opinion. So even if they were a little low, we've got human error, human factor to cycle in here. You have to allow the airliner to be a little low, and you have to allow Pat to be a little high, and it still has to have enough spacing that the world is okay, and it's just not there right now. And so I think they need to take a look at that again and go, okay, with human factors here, with human error, do we have enough room? It's kind of like if you're driving on a country road and it's just a one way in, one way out, you don't get a lot of room for mistakes. You look down at your phone for a second and you're kind of in their lane.
Yeah.
It's not about kind of, you are in their lane. And so that's the same thing with this corridor. You're not just kind of in my airspace, you are in my airspace, as this has shown.
Yeah. That is some great insight, man. We got a question here from Joe. Well, he said break off and circle. He said those are thrilling approaches. Jason with a good question. He said, so it's called banking to 33 or sidestepping to 33? Or are those words interchangeable? That's what
kind
Jason...
of. Yeah, we just call it a circle. Like it's a circle to land. So we fly okay, sometimes in your instrument, we would I'll teach my students, you fly an approach, let's say the weather's starting to come down a little bit. Well, maybe 3-3, we're just going to use hypothetical, right? 3-3, let's say, doesn't have an approach of its own, which it does in DC, but let's just say it doesn't. You can fly an approach to a different runway that actually has a published approach. And then at a certain altitude, you stop flying that approach, you stay below the clouds, and then you circle to land at a different runway. And so we used to do this all the time in Smyrna, Tennessee, where we'd fly to runway 32 and we would circle to runway 1. And it's because 32 had a very low ILS we could shoot, but runway 1 was the smaller runway that general aviation could use, so you didn't clog up the major runway. And that's exactly what happened there in DC. The reason they use 3-3 is you're trying to launch off runway 1 because it's such a long taxi to get over to 3-3. And I've taken off on every runway in DC before. Wow. And I've landed on every runway except for 4, because believe it or not, there's actually another runway there that most people don't know about.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's runway 4 still. So they're trying to just shove a lot of traffic into a very small airspace. And so with smaller jets, or I should say lighter, smaller is not really fair, but it kind of is. So with a smaller or a lighter jet, if you don't need to use runway 1, we would tell them, hey, we're open to 3-3. And we're just telling them hey, if it helps you, I can circle to runway 3-3 to keep everything kind of clear and open. And so that's what they did. They told them, hey, you're gonna circle over to 3-3. And wow. Unfortunately, when they did that, it was just wrong place, wrong time. But we've done it a billion times before.
That's crazy, man. Once again, rest in peace to everyone that was a part of that fatal incident. Thank you so much, Captain Nick, once again for the amazing insight on the amazing topic. The topic there. Jason said, yep, the plane. Oh, he's referring back to what you mentioned earlier. He said the plane crash here in Alaska that probably would never have gotten national attention if not for the DC crash. That is true.
Correct.
That is true.
That's my point. Is unfortunately, so that that mom, or no, the dad and his daughter.
Yeah.
It's highly unfortunate, but we don't report on small single engine crashes all the time, because that would be like reporting on every car crash, every fatal car crash that happens in the United States.
Yeah.
Dude, we would never get off the air. Mm-hmm. It would just be nonstop. Now, thankfully, this is small single engine planes don't crash that often, but when they do, you don't have to have the same skill level as an airliner. Obviously, you don't have to have the same equipment. You don't have to have the same checks. And so like the same safety, etc. And so when that happens, we never report on it unless we're already on the topic, the fear mongering of talking about, jet accidents.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden we just start reporting on everything. And that's
true.
that's not fair.
Yep. Very much.
But it gets the clicks.
Yeah, go ahead.
It gets the clicks. It gets people to look at it.
Yeah, that's true. We have a newcomer here, probably, man. He's actually a student of Willie in the chat. He's basically asking, how is life as a pilot? And he says, Willie's his bus driver. So is bus driving any similar to being a pilot? That's a question. He's a young kid that asked a question just now.
Is Willie's a bus driver, right?
Yeah, Willie's a bus driver, and
Willie's way cooler than I'll ever be. So let's just get that out of the way right now. I would say, if you have a passion for flying, there is not a better career on the planet, and that's not me trying to embellish.
Yeah,
that's me saying I live my dream every single day. I don't get now, like, I don't want to leave my family, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't get that, like, oh, I've got to go to work tomorrow feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I get excited that I get to go to work because, man, the stuff that I get to see on a daily basis is stupid. It's incredible. And like what you're seeing in those sims, multiply by 1,000, and you're that's the kind of stuff. I mean, we've seen Starlink and seeing rocket launches and seeing the Northern Lights and all sorts of stuff. As far as the bus driving thing, I mean, I guess, like, we do have like a schedule, and we are taking people from A to B most of the time. And it's like, it's always different. Like, Willie may drive the same route over and over and over again, but depending on the weather, depending on other traffic, depending on, whatever, it's always a little different. And so I always have people ask me, like, if I'm doing the same quote unquote route all the time.
Yeah.
Even if I am, it's so different and I told you, like, when I was at Republic, we used to do the New York Boston turn.
Yeah.
And so I'd fly like from DC to LaGuardia, and then to like Boston, LaGuardia, Boston, LaGuardia. And they were like always different. So even though it's the same route over again, it is just always different. There's always dynamic changes. So it's incredible, man.
Yeah.
And luckily, like, we're not just doing the same thing over and over again. But even if you are, it is different somehow.
Exactly. That's true. Jason said, well, you know what they say. That's my favorite state, Jason. He said, if you love your job, you never work a day in your life. That is 100% true. For instance, like my dad, he works for American Airlines. He gets up 3 o'clock every morning, goes out to work. And a lot of people say, how do you do that? I've been doing that for 30-something years. That's tiring, getting up at 4 o'clock. No, he loves aviation. He loves his job. He loves the airline. So he loves what he does. So it's not a job to him. He just enjoys it. So that phrase goes a long way, Jason. If you love your job, you'd never work a day in your life. As Captain Nick said, just seeing the beautiful sky, and he never has a day where he gets up and say, I don't want to go to work. He enjoys what he do. So no matter what you do, guys, once you enjoy what you do, it's not like work. You just do it and you just have a good time. So shout out to you, Jason, for that amazing comment right there. Retired firefighter, good to see you, man. Say hello, family. How's everyone doing today? Doing pretty good. We're just on the phone right now with the awesome Captain Nick. Let me see. Brian said, my lifetime is beautiful. The moon is beaming. I might have to turn on live weather then. Live time. Awesome. And Jake, welcome to the stream. This is flight similar to 2020. But anyway, Captain Nick, give us an update on any emergency flights lately. I know it's been a while since we've spoken. Has everything been smooth sailing so far? Any go-arounds, any crazy stuff to talk about?
I did do go-around not long ago. It was just for something petty. But, that's why you do them. Like, I wish everyone had that same mentality. Every approach is a go-around unless it's absolutely perfect. And most people think every approach is a landing unless it's not perfect. That's not fair. Like, every approach I shoot is a go-around unless it's not. And if you have that mindset, I think it makes you a much safer pilot.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the last missed approach that I did, I actually ended up getting something from one of our chief pilots. It was just like, it was a quick, like, we do a thing called kicktails. So like, anyone within Southwest can send another person like, hey man, that was awesome, you're great. So like, I send it to my ground guys all the time, and I'm like, hey, thanks for the quick turn, appreciate you. It's like just an intra thing. And so he sent me one with points, and it was just like, hey man, thanks for going around, thanks for looking out for passengers, like, thanks for keeping us safe. And I was like, dude, that's cool of you. So like, it's not like he's like, oh my god, you just spent $4,000, blah, blah, blah. He was just like, cool. Thanks for doing that, man. I really appreciate you looking out for our people. And so, yeah, it's like doing a go around is obviously like not a big deal for us, but I just had a medical the other day. Yeah, it was just a simple, like, the lady had blood coming out of her ear.
Oh.
And so but she never told us when she got on the plane that she had sinus problems.
Oh.
And so it was sinus blockage. And so we have a thing called Stat MD where we can actually talk to a doctor in the sky.
Oh.
And they can tell us like they can actually, on our jet, which is kind of rare, they can just talk straight to the flight attendants. I can patch them in together.
No, that's awesome.
Be like, you guys talk to them. I'm gonna handle my job. And so that wasn't really working. And so I was kind of playing middleman. But like, they were just like, okay, she's gonna be okay. Give her this, give her that, and just continue to destination. Because they may tell you like, hey, you need to divert. We're gonna have people on standby like the second you land in. But they were just like, nah, you're good to go. She's got a sinus problem. So.
Wow.
And we had a doctor on the plane too that was taking care of her. So
okay, awesome.
we're very fortunate.
Always good to have a doctor in the plane. Interesting question there, Oliver. I'm not sure. He said, wait, I have a question for Captain Nick. How much jet fuel does Delta Airlines have? I'm not sure where you're going with that question. But
no, how to gauge that.
Yeah, I have no idea either. Retired firefighter said, I agree with Captain Nick. If you love your job and you're committed, yeah, definitely work it in your life. Beautiful.
I'll tell you what, man. Someone asked me one day, and I remember I asked my son this one day too, where I was like, hypothetical, if you could invent a job, and I don't care what it is, it's, I want to play video games while I ride a llama all day, whatever. Just like, if you could invent a thing to do all day, not a job, just a thing that you wanted to do most days, what would it be? And like, sometimes you get some crazy responses, but like, I remember someone asking me that when I was a kid, and I was like, I want to fly. And then when someone asks me still, they're like, oh, what are your hobbies? I'm like, dude, I love to fly. Like,
nice.
When my career is not just like, oh, I love doing my job. Like, even on my days off, dude, I'm playing flight sim with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm on these podcasts for a reason. Like,
yeah.
I love aviation. And I think that's a common thing. You were talking about your dad.
Yeah.
Your dad has a passion for aviation. We are all camaraderie is so linked. And like, you know, being a firefighter. So my stepdad was a firefighter. He was a captain, battalion chief, and seeing those guys, fire was their life. And like, even on their days off, they're hanging out with each other, fishing, talking about fire. And like, you know, same with us, man. I hang out with my pilot friends. We immediately start talking about planes. Truly, you're never really at work. Like, you're just kind of in a different place, getting paid to now just do what you love to do anyways.
Wow, that is awesome. I remember back in high school, they had career day at once. And this guy, he dressed up as a pilot. And he went up to ask him, why do you want to be a pilot? He said, because they got a lot of money. And in my head, I was like, man, that is not the right reason. You have to love what you do. I'm like, I would not want you to be the pilot of my plane. Because if you want to fly, you have to love it. Because if you're doing it for money, one day, after a few years, you're going to get up and be like, I'm tired of this. If you have a love, if you're passionate about it, you're going to always want to have the joy, the urge to always do it. Like you just said, if you love it, you're going to always want to, even when you're off, you want to hop on flight sim, you want to go to take a flight somewhere. So not only doing it for money, but doing it for the love of it is great also. So I definitely agree, 100%.
Yeah, and dude, I still like almost run into stuff on a daily basis. Like, I'll just be walking and I hear an airplane and I'm like, ugh, and I just look straight. I'm like that turkey that drowns itself when it's raining. Have you ever seen those? There's a turkey that like will drown itself because it's raining. It looks up at the sky and it's like, what's that? Like, I'm that guy. I like run into poles and stuff because I'm like, oh, airplane. But yeah, and like to your point, you know, I work with a lot of people who are like, I want to become a pilot. I just don't know the right steps. And I'll mentor them. And one of my first questions is, why do you want to be a pilot? And if you tell me, oh man, you guys make a ton of money, I'm done, man. Like, we're not even going to work together. And that's my boundary. Like, if you're just doing something for them, like if you did just this, and I asked you, man, Trip, why do you do this? And you're like, oh, I make a ton of money. Okay, that's a perk. But like, if that's your only reason, your passion is going to die so quick. And I know that you're passionate about what you do. Like, we've talked on the phone all the time. And like, when I hear you talk about the family that we've built, like that's what it is, man. Like, that's you can be sustained because you're gonna have bad days as a pilot. You're gonna have early mornings. late nights, you're working Christmas, you're working your significant other's birthday or holidays, you're missing first steps. And on the flip side, like on this trip, I've got 24 hours at an all-inclusive resort in Cancun my wife's coming to. So like,
Oh my goodness.
take your pick.
That is
And
awesome.
as I go further, I make more money for working less. I have more time off. I get to pick my schedule. So like, pick your hard. And I think you've heard of that. Like, you know, you're into fitness. So like, pick your hard. You're going to be fat and it's going to be hard to move and you got medical bills, or you're going to work out and it's going to suck because 5 a.m. runs are not fun. Pick your hard. And that's aviation, man. Pick your hard. If you want to be a pilot and you want to do this because you're committed and you've got a passion, holy cow, the dividends pay off.
Yes, sir. That's what Georgia said is about passion. It really is about passion indeed. Retired firefighter said Captain is right about firefighters, and thank you, Captain, for your service. Awesome.
Yeah, thanks for your service, man.
Yeah, much love. Good to see you guys. If you're just hopping on once again, we're on the phone with the awesome Captain Nick. We're talking about the life of a pilot. We're talking about the events that have happened in the past couple of weeks with aviation. If you guys have any questions, let us know. Captain Nick, we don't want to keep you too long, so let us know if we have you on for too long, man.
Oh, you're good, man.
Yeah,
thanks
man.
for.
So, what is one of the best? Like you said, you're out right now. Your wife's coming out. I was going to ask what one of your best vacations you ever been on as on a job. As in, you said you have a 24-hour layover. What's the best place you've been to?
Dude, that's so hard. It depends on what you want to do. Like I've had some crazy ones where we're up in the mountains, or like, you know, we have like a Boise overnight that's pretty awesome, and it's like there's so much hiking around you, and we stay at this really cool place. Or you know, like not tomorrow, but the next day when I'm in Cancun, and like it's it's a full day, and they put us up in an all-inclusive.
Wow.
Not that I drink or anything, but like, you know, the food's nice, and like anything you want to do, you're like, oh, I want to paddleboard, or I want to whatever. That's all included. And so like Shayna comes down and it's a paid vacation that we're going on.
Wow. That is amazing.
Yeah. Or like San Diego, she was just there 2 weeks ago. We went to the Top Gun bar.
Oh, wow.
So it's called Kansas City Barbecue. So if you watch Top Gun, the first one, you know, all those bar scenes.
Yeah.
He's like putting money in the jukebox and whatever, like, or when he's playing the piano, Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah.
That piano, I actually got to play that. Not that I play by any means. I got to touch the keys. But that bar is still there, and all the memorabilia for the most part is still. There was a fire there, but like most of the memorabilia is still there. And so like we sat at that bar, and we got to know like the bartender who's been there for like 40 something years, and he was like, "Yeah, I was in this scene," and I'm like handing him a drink, and like you kind of get like down memory lane. That's just a memory like I'll have forever. And I got pictures like. I took the entire crew out, so it was me and my wife and the entire crew, and we were in that place. We had it all to ourselves, and so we're behind the bar, like making, you know, drinks and stuff for each other. Like it was just, I don't know, it's a different world, man. Like we become a family. Like while you're on these trips, that crew is your family for those X amount of days, and like we all really try to take care of each other. And then when my wife came, like she was, you know, part of the crew now, and it's just so cool, man.
That is awesome, man. That sounds so fun, man. You need to start a YouTube and do vlogging. Just vlog your life as a pilot. I would love to watch that on YouTube, man. That's awesome.
I have pictures, videos, and stuff. I need someone that helps with. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. Yeah. I'm not like you.
Nah, man. Just upload them. I promise you. That sounds like an awesome life, man. We have Isram in the chat, a new follower. He said, the biggest thing for him right now, the cost is just the biggest thing for me to overcome in becoming a pilot. I've heard that a lot.
That cost, though, there's two things I want to talk about with the cost. You are putting in so that later you can take out. So what I mean by that is, obviously, learning to fly is expensive.
Yeah.
And it's expensive because you're talking about machines, you're talking about people's lives, you're talking about upkeep, whatever. But it's also expensive. It's like a place to live. Certain places are more expensive because they're just different. Maybe they've got golf cart paths or something that like running trails that you like or whatever. Like, unfortunately, flying is expensive because it wants to show, do you have what it takes to keep going? Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to put in the effort to do this? And I will be the first person to tell you that if you can muster it, if you can keep going, and there are ways to keep going. Like, I don't care. I did this when I was broke. Like, couldn't afford ramen type broke.
Yep.
So there are ways to do it. but you have to keep pushing. And but you're right though. Like that is the biggest hurdle that
For
most people come across.
yes, for Isram, who wants to be a pilot, but he's worried about the cost. What are some things would you advise him to do? Do you have any scholarships in mind, or what do you think he should start doing? Isram, how old are
Yep.
you, man? Let us know. And also, what do you think, Captain Nick? What should he do to start
Yeah, so
pursuing?
depending on a lot of things, like if he knows anyone in aviation, like you can get a scholarship trip because your dad is an American
Yeah.
Airlines employee. My son can get a scholarship because Southwest puts up a scholarship just for Southwest people. There's also, like, depending on nationality, sex, depending on your age, etc., there are scholarships out there to be had. And the biggest thing with a scholarship is they have to be filled. So apply, because if no one else is applying to them, guess who just got it? Even if you don't quite fit the bill,
Yeah.
if you're the only person applying for it, all of a sudden, well, the money's got to go somewhere. It went to you. So there is that. There's pilot loans from pilots for pilots kind of thing. So it's like, we have pilots who invest and then help other people become pilots. And then obviously you pay them back, and like they understand a little more of like how the pilot thing goes, obviously. The biggest thing I would say though, is you can cut off about $10,000 if you do some self-study before you start. And also have the money up front. So like I had a lot of students that would like, oh man, I can only afford to fly once a month. Well, that doesn't help you. I mean, I'm happy to take your money, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
So like, if you're only flying once a month, it's like if I want to teach you how to ride a bike, I'm definitely not going to do it once a month. I'm going to do it every single day, many times a day if I can, because otherwise you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. You don't quite get that retention rate you need.
True.
And so if it's about money, don't fall into the pit that a lot of people fall into. And they're like, I'm going to save up and I'm going to take one flight, and I'm going to save. And 3 weeks later, I'm going to take another flight. Well, you're wasting money, because that flight you did 3 weeks ago, you probably forgot a bunch between then and now, because a lot of what we do is muscle memory. And so if you can save up for a longer period of time and then just crank it, that way you have that continuation of learning, and you don't do that whole two forward, one back, two forward, one back, two forward, one back. You're burning money. That would be some of the biggest things. But like, seriously, if you can walk into it, I'm going to be happy to help. But if you can walk into it with, man, I know the phonetic alphabet, I know airspace, I know basic aerodynamics, I know blah, 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 whatever. If you can walk into it with these things before you start, because ground school, believe it or not, is actually one of the most expensive parts about learning to fly, because they're just going to charge you every ground lesson 2 or 3 hours. That's something you could have learned on your own.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you're willing to put in the work, right? It's kind of like paying for a personal trainer. If I pay for a personal trainer and I do nothing in between my sessions, and then I show up and I'm like, well, I'm paying you, get me fit. Dude, that doesn't exactly work. But if I'm like, hey, I'm really going to get a base going, and I'm going to watch what I eat, and I want to watch how much water I take in, and blah, blah, blah. And then I'm going to use this guy to really critique me. That's how you need to do aviation.
I love that.
And if you can do that, you're going to save about $10,000 to $15,000 that way.
That's true. That's great advice, man. So to Ishram that asked that question, hopefully that was great insight for you, man. Thank you so much, Captain Nick, once again. Jay Russ said when I was in flight school, I did he said he flew 2 times per week.
Yeah,
Nice.
That's good.
Nice. Let me see. He said, Oliver said, by the way, Captain Nick, he said he's a Chiefs fan. So he's talking about football. I don't know if you're a big football fan, Captain Nick, but
yeah, I'm a Chiefs fan too. We lived in Kansas City for years. Yeah, we lived in Kansas City for years. So like, I was born and raised in Washington State. So I like the Seahawks. And then I really, really wanted my wife to get into aviation. And so I was like, hey, you just need to not aviation, into football. So I was like, you just kind of need to like pick a team, and then it'll come natural. And she picked the Kansas City Chiefs for no reason. I was like, God, you just picked like a losing team. They haven't done anything in like 50 years.
Oh my!
And dude, It was like Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. And I was like, why do you pick the Seahawks, dude? What the heck?
That's crazy.
So I'm pretty sure she's the reason for their late success.
That is shout out to your
The only
wife. That
thing that
is
makes
awesome.
sense. It's the only
Nice,
thing that
nice.
makes sense in my head.
Oh my goodness! But yeah, guys, we just touched down right now in Colombia. I looked over to the chat and I realized I was a little bit off center line. But hey, we made it down safe. As Captain Nick would say, any landing can walk away from is a good landing.
Right.
He said, "Nice landing." Appreciate you guys so much. Next flight, yeah, Brian, you choose it. Brian, let us know. I'll wait on you if you have a nice flight in mind, a 30-minute flight, 20-minute flight. Let us know. Just let me know the airport codes, man. Next question here from Rio. It said, "Question: Can you do your own ground school and then just do the flying with an instructor?" That's from Rio.
Kind of. So like yes is the big answer, but no, because any instructor is putting their certificate on the line when they send you to a check ride. And so I, as an instructor, which I still am, need to verify that you know everything you need to know, so that when you go take this check ride, if you pass, it's a pass for both of us. And if you fail, it's a fail for both of us, actually. And a lot of people don't know that. So like when I send you to a check ride, to a check examiner, to a check airman, that is both of our certificates on the line. And it does not look good if I send 10 people and 7 of them fail. That's not a good look for me. And so luckily I sent like 40 people, and all 40 of my students passed their written, oral, and practical first shot. And that's because I was very thorough. And any good CFI is going to do the same thing. But to your point, you're going to do a bunch of the work ahead of time, and you're going to talk to your CFI and say, hey, listen, I'm trying to cut down expenses. So my plan is to try to self-learn as much as I can. And when we do these, because remember, this is your flight training.
Yeah.
So they may be like, no, this is how I do it. Well, then you and I might not be a good fit. This is your flight training you're paying for. And so you can go to them and say, here's how I plan on doing this. Now, as long as it's not like a school, right? Because they may have their own curriculum completely. But if you're doing this on your own, what I'd recommend is I'm going to be like, okay, tell me what you want me to know before our next meeting. Okay, well, I want you to know chapter 1 and 2. Cool. I'm going to know that inside and out. And then when I show up, you're basically testing me on what I know and what I don't know. And then teach me the things that I'm missing. So like, I'm going to assign you 2 chapters. And then, okay, Trip, tell me what you know about, like, tell me the phonetic alphabet. And as long as you can hit it, cool. Next. Well, I didn't just spend an hour teaching you the phonetic alphabet. You could have done that in your bedroom. And so I just saved you $200 right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's how I would do it. So like, yes, you can learn 99% of it on your own. You're going to need an instructor to fill in gaps. That's okay. But you do need that instructor to sign off. So like, there will still be ground school. It's just your goal is, instead of 60 hours of ground school for your private, let's cut that down to like 10, right? Or 15 or something. That's saving you. I think most instructors now are like anywhere between $100 and $200 an hour. So like, multiply that by 50 hours and you start to really crank up the expenses.
Wow. Well, yeah, that's a great question, Rio. That was an amazing answer by Captain Nick, man. So appreciate that. So I have a great question here. A lot of people would love to know. Can you describe a typical day in your life as a pilot? A typical day. You wake up, you drink coffee. What do you do? A typical day life as a pilot.
Yeah. Have you ever watched Top Gun?
Oh boy. Oh my.
Okay. All right. So legitimately, here's kind of what happens. At Southwest, we do AMs and PMs, and that's not always perfect. Like on my last trip was a PM turned AM because I wanted to watch Super Bowl. But like, I am a PM pilot. I like flying at night. I don't mind getting in at 2, 3 in the morning. I just don't want to wake up at 2, 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
So, and it also depends on like who you are. So maybe you go out with the crew, you go have some drinks, or you like to wake up early and like go explore the city. But like, let's say on an average trip, you wake up, and I like to work out in the morning. So I wake up, I make it a point to work out. And then depending on how much time I have left still, a little bit of stretching, maybe I'm going to go walk around the city, kind of explore my environment, and then get ready, head to the airport, get on the jet, and then you're starting to look over all your paperwork, plug it all in, fly to the next place, and then you just kind of bounce until you get to wherever you're going for the night. And then at that night, depending on how long you have, like I said, a lot of people are like, "Hey man, you gonna come back down later for a beer and a burger or whatever?" So depending on if we call them slam clickers, there's a lot of us who are like, "No, this is my me time, dude. Like, I'm gonna go read, or I'm gonna go work out, or I'm gonna talk to my kid or my wife or whatever." So like, it just depends a lot on who you are as a human.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who love that crew connection, and so all of a sudden, man, like you can get into some crazy stuff. Like, I used to go to Niagara Falls all the time, and like I just rent a car with my crew and be like, "Dude, let's go." And so like you can do cool stuff. Like we have, I used to go to the Bahamas a lot. We'd have like 22 hours in the Bahamas, and I knew of a guy who had a boat, and he'd take us to that island that has the live like pigs.
Yeah.
And so we'd just go like hang out with the water pigs and stuff all day. So like
that is amazing, man.
Yeah, like as long as you're backed by your go time, no one cares what. I mean, like obviously the drinking part, like you gotta be really careful, but like no one cares what you do. As far as if I have 18 hours at a hotel, those 18 hours are yours, man. Like go rent a car, go do something, go walk the city, do nothing, hang out in your bedroom, journal. I journal a lot, man. I keep a journal with me every day, and like I just write in it like every day. I feel like, yeah, of course, I've got it sitting right here. I'm looking at it.
Awesome,
and so like the cool thing about aviation is not only do I have a lot of days off, but like I have a lot of time off during my workday. And so I love micro learning. And so to your point, you're like, hey, start a YouTube channel. Well, I may have 18 hours in Burbank, California. Well, if I don't want to go walk around the city, maybe I use like 4 of those hours to have like a side project. Or a lot of people have a second job that they do for fun. And they're like, I'm a content creator, or I'm like Big Earn. He's a content creator. Like literally he's getting paid while he's getting paid. And so we have a lot of people who become lawyers. We have a lot of people who do work from home type stuff.
That is true.
Or like IT. Or not IT. Like what's it called when like if I'm a computer programmer. So like you pay me for the job, and then I can do it on my own time.
That is awesome. That's a great, like, shout out to Abraham. Good to see you, man. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, this is indeed Captain Nick we're on the line with. Captain, to go back to what you said, question about it. Somebody asked even a few nights ago, is it okay for pilots to have a YouTube channel? So there's a lot of pilots that have a YouTube channel. I guess it's based on just as long as they don't show the cockpit or something like that. So that's the question somebody asks: is it okay for pilots to be content created as a side job, or is it against the rules?
No, I mean, so like, yeah, obviously there's certain things that you can and can't do, but it's like, I can't take pictures and videos while I'm working. So when I'm actively at my workstation, which is in the cockpit or like in flight, then yeah, I can't be like taking pictures and videos like out of the cockpit, or like, I can't be, which sucks, because I'm like, we see the craziest stuff, and like, I would love to, like, I had a friend who used to have a GoPro, and he would like stick it to the cockpit door. Nice. And it wasn't until later that I was like, oh dude, that's actually illegal. And so when I was a captain with him, and I remember looking at some of his videos, and I'm like, this is so cool, because he had the thing just set just right that you could actually see what we were doing, and you could kind of see out as well. So I don't know how he did that. I'm not, I wish I was better with that.
Okay.
I have all these things that I'm like, I would love to just send you all these videos and like you can snip them all together and do your thing. But like,
for sure.
He used to do that, and I'm like, what a great learning experience. And you can in other countries. So what you see on like TikTok is a lot of other countries are okay with that as long as you're not manipulating the camera.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I'll just put up like a little stick, right? And then I'll put my camera out there and let it record. And so like, yeah, like Big Earn or, Almost Captain, like all these people.
Morgan,
like, or Sam, or like any of these people, Elliot, like they all can create content, but what you won't see, and like I've sent you a video of me doing like a flow. You remember that? Like it was X amount of months ago.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And the plane was cold and dark. And I was just showing you, like, when I get to the plane, here's how I wake it up. Well, nothing's actually happening yet. And I can go back and shut it all right back down to make sure I've done it correctly. But if I send you that same video and we're in flight, that's a problem. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, like, can we be content creators? Absolutely. What I would do is, if I wanted to be like pretty serious about it, is I'm going to sit down with my chief pilot and say, hey, man, here's what I would like to do. Like, I want to bring aviation to many more people, and here's the stuff I plan on doing. Can you tell me what I can and can't? Like, basically, can I have the blessing of Southwest? And the Southwest may be like, nope, like, we don't even want you to say our name. And okay, like, that's fair. Or they may be like, yeah, dude, and we'll make sure that you're good to go or whatever. So, like, you just got to ride that fine line.
That's good
of being like, okay, this is, I like, okay, I'm doing a walk around and I stop to take a picture really quick. Well, I'm not like filming my whole walk around. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not detracting from what I'm doing. I stopped, stepped back, took a picture because I'm flying like Freedom 1, and then I send it to you, and then I continue my walk around. I think that's perfectly acceptable.
Got you. Shout out to Trevante in the chat on TikTok. Good to see you, man. That's my good friend there. We go to the gym every day. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to Jason. Welcome to the stream, indeed. Going back to the content creation part of aviation. Yeah, I've seen a lot of videos. I think some of you guys in the chat mentioned different content creators, because I do watch a lot of captains that videotape their lives. I always notice up until the flight, they're walking in until the cockpit, and that's when they stop filming. And I always assume that that's definitely obviously illegal to film in the cockpit.
We can still film in the cockpit, because like, I can bring you. Matter of fact, like, when I fly you one day, you better get in the cockpit. You
Definitely.
And that's okay. So, like, but it's just kind of like, what phase are we in? So, like, if I get to bring you down early, it doesn't mean you like, hey, you got to turn your phone off the second we walk into that cockpit. But like, if I'm actively getting this plane ready for a live flight with paying passengers, I'm not going to be filming that, because like, I should be focused on what I'm doing. What I don't like is I could also have a GoPro set up that is completely out of my hands. I just set it up one time and I'm done. I wish we could do that. Unfortunately, the FAA doesn't see it the same way, which I think is a little antiquated to think of it that way, but it just kind of is what it is. But that's why you see them kind of stop there, because once they get, and like the one that I sent you, I got to the plane like 20 minutes early to take that video. And then what I did was I set it all up. I shut the plane down completely, and then I started over. That way it was like, okay, this is what it looks like, and now you've seen it. I'm going to shut it all down, start back from scratch, and actually do my job. And I didn't film any of that. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Awesome. Jason, thank you so much for subscribing, man. You said you've been here for 30 minutes and you love it, feel the love. Thank you so much for hopping on, Jason. That's what it's all about, man. Thank you so much for joining. Talking about that, Captain Nick. Talking about the plane, going back to the plane crash last week, 2 weeks ago with the CRJ. Minutes after the crash, there was an American Airlines gate agent that was on the phone with CNN. As my dad was watching on the TV, he was kind of shocked that she was literally talking to CNN about what happened or what she's seen there and then, because normally you have to get permission from American Airlines itself to actually have a conversation with CNN. So those type of stuff he had to get. So maybe she did get permission to talk on behalf of American Airlines or whatnot, but she was on CNN just relaying everything. So that as Georgia said, per regulations, definitely have to get permission for certain stuff, especially with the airlines. They don't play about that. So that is very true.
Yeah, and I would just defer that. Like, so if you've noticed, everything we've talked about is my speculation. Everything we've talked about
of
is
course.
We need to wait until we have the full report, blah, blah, blah. Like, politician.
Definitely.
I can tell you my experiences, and I can tell you what I've come across, but like, I'm not going to assume anything, and I'm definitely not going to talk for a company. And so, like, in our books, it's like, hey, I appreciate your interest in this. I'm going to have to defer to blah, blah, blah. And there's a whole little speech kind of in there that none of us like have it memorized, but like, God forbid something like that happens, I'm going to start looking it up so that when a camera is in my face, which it has happened, it will happen, I have kind of like a basis of who to send them to. Either that person did get permission, which is highly unlikely, or that person's sitting in front of someone right now.
Yeah, most likely.
It's their situation, because I can't imagine trying to speak for an airline, especially on a fatality.
Exactly.
Like that would be asinine.
Yeah, I don't think the airline would have given permission that quick, because the incident happened like within an hour, and then after an hour, she's there giving the rundown on what's going on at the airport, what American Airlines did and whatnot. So most likely, I'm not sure she's, as you said, maybe she's sitting behind of a desk talking to some people as we speak. But yeah, George said it's called FSDO, I think. Oh, you deleted the message, but yeah. Shout out to you, Master 11. Hope you have a wonderful evening. But yeah, Captain Nick, man, it was awesome having you on tonight, man. It was great. Let me see. Do we have one more question to Captain Nick before we let him go? We had it on for over an hour now. Let me see. Any more questions? Boom, boom, boom. What's the most beautiful or memorable sight you've seen while flying? Beautiful or memorable sight?
My wife.
Oh, that deserves a...
No, and this is no joke. I walked out. It was my captain upgrade ride, and he came with me on my actual captain. Like after you do all your training,
yeah,
and you do your simulator and all that stuff, you still have to be checked out, and the FAA has to do a check ride on you, and it's a big deal to upgrade. And obviously on these longer flights, sometimes we do bathroom breaks, and so I did a bathroom break, and I didn't realize that she had been on that flight. She got upgraded, and so I walked out, and of course we do like a scan to make sure that there's a safe zone. And so I walk out, and boom, she's sitting right there.
Wow.
The sun was setting, so it was like hitting her in the face, like just right. And but as far as like when you're talking about scenery, man, I mean, no joke. You fly these flight simulators, like even okay. I'm kind of looking at your stream as we go right now too. Look at the sunset you're looking at, dude.
Beautiful.
Like, seeing things like that, seeing the moon, full moon, or I've seen star launches. I've seen shooting stars like continuous, because when you're up there, there's just no light pollution. I've seen mountains, and I've seen oceans, and I've seen just crazy stuff that there's too many to just pick a single point in time. Because it would just not do justice to all the other billions of times that I've seen things. And like, I'm still a nerd. Like, every time I see the same thing, every single flight, I'm like, dude, I have the best job on the planet.
I love it. That's awesome.
And it's true. I feel that way every single flight.
I love that. See, they call us AV geeks for a reason. At first, I was like, why do you call me AV geek? But now it makes sense.
Because we're all happy.
We just love AV geeks. We just love aviation. So yeah, man. Jason, what are you referring to? FMC in the program, and yeah, we can definitely help you out in the Discord for sure. Captain Nick can help you out with that. You said, which one do you prefer more, the NG version of the 737 or the 737 Max?
They both have their perks. So like last week, I was in like a Max, and then I was in a Max, and then I was in a Max, and then I was in a Max, and then I had an NG. And the Maxes are great because they're quiet, they're fuel efficient, they sit up a little taller, they've got the newest, best tech. But man, they take forever to start an engine.
Really?
Oh my God. So like the NGs, if we are cleared to push and cleared to start at the same time, I can have both engines started and running before they disconnect the tow bar.
Wow.
The Maxes take, like, no joke, to start both engines. If you were like, hey, let's go ahead and start them on the push and let's start both of them, it's going to take like 10 minutes.
Oh boy.
And the thing is, like, the core is so precise that it has to motor the engines for so long to get that core perfectly straight before you actually introduce fuel inside the burner. And so that takes a long time for that core to spin and spin and spin and spin to get perfectly where it wants to be, and it's weighing it at like a million different points. And so it just takes so long to start those engines. But once the engines are started, I mean, obviously the Maxes are great, man. They're big screens, new technology. They sit pretty. I mean, when you see them taxiing around, they just look good.
Nice.
But the engine, man, it's like That's OG stuff. Like I love flying an NG like all
Oh
day long.
man, I love it. Abraham, I have a question. Say, Captain Nick, who was your favorite person growing up? Favorite person growing up?
My Uncle Troy.
Mm,
My Uncle Troy was like my dad to me,
mm.
and unfortunately took his life when I was 15 years old. And
Wow.
that
So sorry.
just, thank you. It was devastating, but it taught me a lot about life. And it taught me that sometimes the people who make you laugh the hardest and the people who they always seem happy, it's because they want you to be happy. And that doesn't mean that they are happy. And so I remember when he had taken his own life, and people were like, man, that would be like Robin Williams taking his life. And a couple of years later, Robin Williams took his life.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
it was like reliving it twice because, not only was he like my dad, like we had so many experiences together, and he helped raise me, but like seeing that commonality between the two of them,
Yeah.
was very opening, where you're like, okay, the best lesson in life I learned was to protect your own peace. And it is a lesson I have scratched and clawed to learn I'm 34 now. So like for 30 years, man, like I have just scratched and clawed to try to learn to protect my own peace. And both of those people taught me the importance of that.
Wow. Once again, I'm so sorry to hear that, man, but that's a great answer, man. That is awesome. But yeah, that is very true, man. That is very true in everything you just said. As Abraham just said, I'm so sorry, Captain Nick. Indeed.
Oh, you're good, buddy.
Let me see. So George said, don't forget it. You got to wait 3 minutes before you shut down. I think he's referring to the 737. Yeah.
Yeah. So you need 2 minutes after startup, and you only need 1 minute after you land to shut it down. So it's 2 up, 1 down.
Wow.
The max is you need 3 up, 3 down. And so, but it's like, that sucks in and of itself because you've got to time that. So like if you're wanting to start that other engine, you've got to time your taxi out to make sure you're at the runway. Like they assume, per the FAR aim, they assume that a jet is ready upon reaching the runway. And if they're trying to fit you in with 20 other planes, man, if you get to that runway and you're like, oh, we need 2 minutes, oh my gosh, like you just screwed the entire line. Matter of fact, they might punish you by telling you to go to the back of the line. I've seen it happen before in Philly. And so having that timing down, there's a lot of things that happen to make sure that you get your timing perfect, and that the maxes just really mess with that. Plus, if you know anything about Southwest, you know we taxi fast.
Oh yeah.
The maxes have caused us to taxi like American Airlines, and it kills us at Southwest because we're used to taxiing at Mach Jesus, and American is like at 4 knots. And so there's a big discrepancy there. But when we have the max engine starting, we have to go like, okay, well, it's going to take us, 1 minute to get to the runway, but we need 3 minutes to warm up. So we got to go really slow. That's really tough on us. Like,
wow.
It's just asking a tiger to change its stripes, and we don't do that very easy.
Understood. What's up, man? On TikTok, he said, hello, is this Boeing 787? Yes, sir, it's 787. Let me see, Sid. Mr. Abraham said, come on down to St. Croix, the Virgin Islands, Captain Nick. I'll show you around.
That'd be great, man. We're actually, my wife and I are going on a cruise late February.
Nice.
We're going to go to San Juan.
Ooh,
spend 4 or 5 days there, and then we're going to catch a cruise around the whole Caribbean. So I think we're actually going to be in the British Virgin Islands actually on one of those days. So,
awesome.
but yeah, send me a message. I don't know who asked
Abraham.
that question, who said that, but
Abraham.
Send me a message. Maybe we can get together.
Yeah, for sure. Shoot him a message, Abraham. That's pretty cool. Let me see. He said, scrolling back up to Oliver's comment, he said, tell Captain Nick that Kansas City will be back next year. Yeah. Shout out to the Chiefs. Let me see. Yeah,
they've done good, man.
Yeah, they did good, indeed. Yeah, Mock Jesus, I haven't heard that one before. I love that.
That's a Southwest expression, man.
I love that. You guys do taxi like
balls to the wall all the day. Yeah. We got places to see, man.
Exactly. Like people, places to go, people to see. I love it. Esrom said, Captain Nick, what airliners have you flown? I think he's new. So, yeah.
Oh, so I was typed on the 175, the 195, and then I was now typed on the 737, the 700, the 800, the MAX. And then I've flown a ton of I've flown the Airbus and I've flown a bunch of other planes, but the type ratings are what I'm official on. And then before that, you obviously going through flight training, you just fly a ton of different planes, because as long as they're not over 12,500 pounds, you can pretty much fly anything. And so we just jump from one to the next to the next to the next. But yeah, as far as airliners, I've been very fortunate that I haven't been jumping around too much. Like you see some of these guys who are like, oh, I flew the Brasilia, and then I flew the shorts, and then I flew the this and then that. And you're like, oh my God, that's a hectic career. I've been very fortunate. I applied to Republic. I got in on the 175 and the 195. And then I left there, went to Southwest, and this is where I'm going to spend my career. And so as long as we don't get another type, which we probably will at some point, we'll probably get another type rating. We'll get an Airbus, or we'll get, a 7-8 or something. So like I may get another type on my record before I end my career, but as of right now, I just have those.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. That'd be pretty cool to see Southwest of the 7-8, by the way, but that's just a side note. That's just a side note.
It would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty awesome. Let me see. Joe Jones, can you ask?
Look at me just stirring the pot. None of that's factual, by the way. Like I don't know if they're going to get. I'm just speculating.
Definitely. Gerald Jones said, "Can you ask him if ATC is hard to understand sometimes in real life?"
Yeah. So like, it's like anything. You kind of have to just get used to like how fast they talk. Or my biggest thing would be, if you're really having a problem with them while you're flying, just ask them. Like, hey man, do you mind slowing down? Like I can't. One of my favorite things I heard, and this was when I was flight training, I was a student, I think, in Nashville, and I heard, and it happened to be Southwest, I'm not just like throwing their name out a lot, but like it happened to be a Southwest pilot, and this lady in the tower was just rattling stuff off.
Wow.
And he went, ma'am, do you hear how fast I'm talking? That's how fast I can think. I need you to slow it down. And like in his southern Dallas, Texas voice, and like, it taught me these people are human and you can ask them for things. Like you don't have to be a robot.
Yeah.
And so plenty of times I've been like, hey, I need you to slow down. But no, like the more you do it, the more you kind of expect what's going to be said. And so it's not so much, it's not just like coming from a blank slate. You kind of know, like, as I'm getting vectored for an, so like, coming into to Denver, for example, they're going to descend you to a certain altitude. So you can kind of just build a little like pre-made textural thing. So like they're going to descend me to an altitude, they're going to turn me to a heading, and they're going to tell me, until you intercept a localizer, then they're going to clear me for the ILS runway, blah, blah. And if you can kind of have that in your head, then all you're doing is filling in the blanks. So instead of Southwest 123, turn left heading 350, descend maintain 7,000, intercept the localizer, you clear for the ILS runway 36 right. That sounds like a lot, but I knew they were going to turn me because they have to. I knew they were going to give me an altitude because they have to. And I know they're either going to clear me for the approach or they're going to ask me to continue. So you kind of all of a sudden just broke down what they said into smaller parts and you knew it was coming. And so it's not as hard. It's kind of like watching a movie. You may not know what they said the first time, but if you watch that movie a second time, you kind of already know what to expect.
That's true. That is so true. That's a great example. That is an amazing example you just said. That is so true. I love that. So the last questions of the night coming from Jason. Jason said, it's a very in-depth questions. He said, so I know Alaska uses tail stands on the 737s when they're at the gate. Does Southwest do the same? And is that an airline preference, or is that something that is mandatory for the 737?
So the 800, we don't use tail stands for the 700s, actually. For the 800s, they're just long enough that if you hypothetically just started putting a bunch of stuff on the back, like we call them provodes, provisioners. Like we have those trucks at the back that are like taking in and leaving out like thousands of pounds of like Coca-Cola and like snacks and drinks and whatever, right? So if we've got him back there working, and then we've got people boarding the plane, and hypothetically they all decide to run to the back, you will absolutely tail stand a plane. You'll flip it to the back. And so we use these tail stands just until we get a bunch of people on the plane. It's kind of like being on a boat, right? Like if 10 of us get on a boat and we all go to the right side, like you will roll the boat. I don't care how you work it, but if 10 of us get on, or like if 20 of us get on, you still have 10 on that side, but you had people kind of coming on and off evenly. you can take the tail stand away. So our 800s and our Max 8s, they do have that tail stand.
Mhm.
Our 700s, we don't use them.
Wow.
But Alaska, I think they've got the 9, the 737-900, and so it's the same thing as the 8. It's just too long. So there's the chance, and it's not just weight. We hit a big wind gust, like it can absolutely flip that thing on its tail.
Wow. So, Jason, I hope we got an answer, man. He has one more question. So, from Jason, thank you so much once again. Jason said, and if you don't, what makes the difference between one airline using on their 737 NGs and another airline not using one on their NGs? That's his question there.
I mean, there's just a few differences between the NGs and the Max as far as their size. The Maxes sit up taller, and so the NGs don't tend to have that problem as much because they're a little more squatty. Plus, the NGs, if you look at them side by side, the NG's nose is lower versus the Max. We had to raise the whole plane up to fit those giant engines. Like if you look at the engine from the front, from an NG and a Max, the Maxes are way bigger in comparison to the body of the plane than the NGs. The NGs are a little bit more compact. And so we had to stand the plane up, and physically the nose is taller. Well, if the nose is taller, the tail wants to squat back more. And so you're already on that center of gravity. You're already like at a tipping moment. If anyone here knows, like when I say the word moment, it's kind of like with a seesaw.
Yeah.
If you're 150 pounds on one side, if I'm putting 149 pounds on the other side, you kind of start to feel that tip point. So it's the same thing. Like our 800s, specifically the Maxes, they're longer, but they're also taller on the front, which means they're just ready to tip onto their back. And so hypothetically, if you were to get under the nose and have like 4 or 5 pretty strong dudes like start to push up on the nose, you could tip over onto its tail. And so the Maxes are just a little more susceptible to that. And so we use the tail stands just to make sure that it doesn't come tipping over on anyone.
Okay, understood. That's a great question, by the way, Jason. Awesome. JG said you're from Honduras. That's why. Oh, awesome, man. My wife is also from Honduras. Much love. Jason said, and isn't the engine angled upwards also compared to the NGs?
Yes. So the Maxes went forward and up on the engines, and that's like they just physically had to fit them. And it's like, a fighter jet. Like if you're going to put bigger engines on it, you need to do something to get the engine. Like they don't just magically go there. And so if you took an NG with Max engines, you physically cannot fit the engine onto an NG. And so we had to lift it up. We had to move where they are. They had to go forward and up on the wing. And so maybe on my trip, if I fly a Max and an NG, I can try to get a picture from like the same angle, and you'll see what I'm talking about. The engine physically was moved forward and then up on the wing.
Wow, that is amazing. Thank you so much, Jason, for that quick question, man. He said, LOL, okay, I'm going to stop. I could ask him questions all night. Man, that's what we're here for. We appreciate you so much for asking. Very, very great question by Jason. Also, thank you so much, Captain Nick, man. It was a great night to have you on. It was a great question. Great questions by you guys. Thank you so much. And amazing answers once again by Captain Nick. We're just about to touch down here right now, so thank you guys so much for hopping on, man. Big, huge thank you so much to Captain Nick for being on, for taking the time out. I know you said you're waiting on your wife right now. You guys are going to have an awesome time there, man. So thank you so much for stopping by. Really appreciate you once again. Benjamin, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, Captain Nick, any suggestions for flights for tomorrow? We always got to end off with that. We didn't do a poll tonight, so if you have any suggestions, let me know. If you have any suggestions for flight tomorrow, looking for a short flight though.
Are you talking about a short flight?
Yeah, short flights. We like to do.
I would love to see you guys go from, because I'm going into Burbank quite a bit lately.
Yeah.
All I want is you can take off from wherever you want, but you've got to go to Burbank, and I think we land runway 8. So you have to land runway 8. So
Burbank
something
runway
like so like maybe like San Diego to Burbank. That may be even a little too short, but
Yeah,
like
let me
because it's
see.
basically San Diego to LA, but it's probably somewhere around there, 30 minutes or
Awesome.
maybe less.
San Diego to Burbank. Let me write that down right now so we can check it out later. Let me see. Thank you so much for that. So San Diego to Burbank, but anywhere to Burbank is fine. San Diego.
Yeah. Burbank. So it's KBUR,
Okay.
and it has to be runway 8 because that's the runway we actually land on,
Okay.
and then we take off runway 15 or 33.
Awesome. So San Diego to Burbank, KBUR, and it has to be runway. You said number 8.
Yep, runway 8.
Okay, awesome. So I'll check it out. I'll see how long the flight is. I'm definitely going to be using the Southwest tomorrow.
Boy.
The question is, should I be using the Freedom One or should I go with the traditional blue? What do you think?
Always Freedom One.
Ooh.
If you ever get a chance to use Freedom One, it's always the way to go.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to be flying the beautiful 737 Freedom One livery tomorrow, guys. Headed into Burbank. Much love to you, everyone in the chat, man. You guys have been amazing. Captain Nick, you've been amazing. Thank you so much for being on, man.
Love you, buddy. Hey, congratulations on the twins, man.
Thank you so much, man. Looking forward to it. I'll let you know how it goes.
Absolutely.
Have a wonderful night, man. Thank you so much.
You too, guys.
Right.
Love you guys.
All right, thanks. Have a good night.
See you, buddy.
But once again, guys, you guys have been absolutely amazing. Had a great night with you guys. Great question, great answering by Captain Nick. Shout out to my beautiful wife. She said hi to everyone, and she love you guys, man. Much love. Shout out to George, Willie, Ezra, Jason. Thank you so much, man. It was the first time being on, and we absolutely enjoy having you here on the Discord link. Let me send it for you right now. Let me see if we can pull up Discord. We're a big family here. We don't only talk about aviation. Sometimes we talk about sports and everything. Jason, when you join, you will see. Let me see. Let me get that link for you right away. Boom. Copy and paste. This link will take you right to the Discord. Copy. Perfect. Right here. All right. So it's in the chat right now. Wait. No. Paste. Boom. Is it there yet? Nope. It said hidden. Hold up. Let me try it one more time. I got to get you that link before we hop off, man. I'm not leaving until we get you that link so you can chit-chat with us. Also, my wife is pregnant. That's where we keep in touch because sometimes I'm busy or something come up, so I have to cancel streams. So that's where I keep in touch with everyone in the chat. Let me see. Let me try it one more time to share this link. So let me edit the link for my chat. Let me see. Generate new link. Copy. Let me paste. Let's see if it works again. Still said hidden. Interesting. I'm trying to invite you to the. 1 second. Invite link. I don't know if Brian, if you could send the link in the chat real quick, or somebody. Let me see if we can just send the link to in the chat. Not gonna end unless we get that link over to Mr. Jason there. Nice meeting you, by the way. Hey, nice to meet you too, man. All right, let me see. Boom, boom. Generate new link. So it should be working. I'm not sure why it's saying copy. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, very strange. Let me close Discord and open up again. In the meantime, let me go and say thank you for your service. Hey, shout out to you, Captain Nick. I see you in the chat, man. Thank you so much for being on tonight with us, man. Really appreciate you so much for hopping on and chit-chatting with us. Let me see. Brian say thanks, Captain Nick. That means a lot, man. I'm doing well. Awesome. Let me see. Invite people. I don't know why this is not working. Interesting. What I can do, you know what? Let me do all that on stream real quick. I think I know a way. Let me do it real quick. Once again, you guys are absolutely amazing. Much love. Still trying to get this link. Let me go to studio videos. All right. Content. Boom. You said there it is. You got it? Retired firefighter said hello, Mary. Shout out to you, retired firefighter. You said you found it. Let me see. Yeah, I didn't see the link yet. Let me see. Boom. Discord. You just sent the link? In my side, I'm not seeing it. I'm not sure why. But let me see. Try to send this link. Did you guys see the link? You guys see it? Boom. Let me try to send this one in the chat and see if. All right, so that is the link right there. Got it. Perfect. All right, so See, what happened is I think YouTube doesn't allow anyone but the moderators or me to send links. Or even Brian can't send it. Can you guys see that link right there? Let me know. That link should work. Jason, just click on that link and it should take you straight to the Discord. Wonder why it wasn't letting me. Yeah, that's crazy. But it wasn't letting me either. It was just saying hidden. But you see, got it? Awesome, man. But yeah, Brian, that's weird that even I had problems sending it. It's crazy. You sent it the other night, and Rockout did too. But yeah, man, shout out to everyone in the chat, man. You guys are absolutely amazing. Tomorrow night we'll be on at 7 o'clock. Mr. Cloud Surfer, aka Captain Nick. I see you on TikTok now. Yeah, man. Hope you guys have a wonderful night. Jason, thank you so much for joining. Shout out to any new subscribers, new supporters. Appreciate you guys so much. We're all one awesome aviation community here. We're family, man. Shout out to George, Willie, Brian, Jason. Let me see. Everyone in the chat, man. Nick, thank you so much once again. Emerson, welcome to the stream once again. Pirochi, Mr. Abraham, everyone in the chat, man. Appreciate you guys. Love all you guys. Have a wonderful evening. See you guys tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And have a wonderful night from me and my beautiful wife. Have a wonderful night, guys. God bless. One love. Much love. God bless. Peace.